Okay. Orientation is locked. Rotate device back. All right. Guess that's how it wants it. All right. Got a thick spall of Obsidian that I knocked off a chunk. And we'll work on thinning this out. So I just want to make a blade out of this or whatever I can get from it really, but got a ridge right here. We'll work on that first. Let's see here. There's my platform, the first spot that I'm gonna hit. And it's got this ridge right here that I can follow. So let's do that. Maybe I should put on my glove first. Oh. Little cracking going on in there. Gonna bring this edge up right here so it's below center line. When I hit it over here, there's a little bit of a crack right there, so I'm gonna have to work through that also. I might just hit it right there and get rid of the crack. There we go. Well, that makes this a little bit more wonky, but we'll get it all thinned out. That's my first flake up here, and it's below center line. I've got a good plane that I can hit in, so I'll hit the flake next to it, which will run that ridge, or not. Need to grind it a little bit more. Go back to the bigger tool. There we go. That's a good flake. Now, since we had that crack, that spot is no longer down here, it's up over here, so I'm gonna have to work that out also. So we had that hump back here, pretty much got rid of that. Right up here at the tip, there's a little bit of a thick spot and a ridge right here. And then this area, this whole edge slopes down there too, so we're still gonna continue working on moving that. So, got a problem on this edge still. Still got a little bit of the remnant of the crack that was there. Then I gotta worry about that part of the edge. So gonna make it a little bit more narrow than I wanted, but it's just what happens when there's little hidden flaws on the stone. So that one might have been one that I thought I'd hit it well enough and nothing came out, but that one came right there. Made a hinge, but it should be okay. What I need to do is try and get it even over here now. So this one's causing me a couple problems, but that's just how flint knapping is sometimes. Okay, it's catching up over there. Looking at my side profile, I got a little thick spot right in there. Have to be real careful with this one because I just thinned it out a lot right there. And there's that little hinge. So I'm gonna try and, there we go. Now I gotta start thinning out the tip hopefully without causing any end shock to it. I've gotten caught up in that whole little mess there, but it's a scary piece right now. Scared to nap, that is. Well, yeah, so when it comes to tools, like if I'm gonna do an abo or yeah, stone and bone point, I'm gonna do it all stone and bone, but I can make bigger, thinner, prettier pieces with copper, which is what I like to do for my Etsy shop. And then occasionally I'll do aboriginal points or all stone and bone, which I do like to do. And I was thinking of maybe doing another one later today. I had actually just ordered another billet and tine, moose tine, because a lot of the times the antler tines I have, they'll dull out really quick, and I wanted to get a good solid one. So I might do an all abo point out of this pumpkin obsidian. I ordered it from Go Napping, the tools, and he sent me the extra rock. He sent me this and like 3 spalls of novaculite, so that was really cool of him. So recommend him if you're looking for tools and rock. He's got a good amount of material, good material. But yeah, if I'm doing big pieces, like if I was gonna bust this one down and spall it out, I would use a hammerstone first. I did a lot of stone and bone for years and napped a lot of tough rock with antler. But when it came to doing the bigger stuff, like I can make really functional points and tools just with even just a hammerstone and the rock. But if I'm making big fancy things, then I'll bust out the copper. My favorite stone to nap with Aboriginal tools is dacite, because it's a little bit harder than obsidian, but still works easy. Now this piece kind of got a weird orientation due to the fact yeah, definitely familiarity with the tools and just a lot of practice with copper. What I was trying to do too is I need to make a punch, and I need to get the right stick for it, but I think the indirect punch would definitely help out my work a lot with Aboriginal. So once I do that, then I'll do some test runs on it. yeah, I've noticed that indirect can get you out of some bad situations, but it can also put you in some bad situations at the same time. It's a whole other thing because you're holding it rather than holding it freehand or something. Well, you are holding it freehand, but then you're using a tool to hit it with rather than striking it, and then you have to figure out which angle to hold it at rather than, this is kind of just muscle memory right here. Okay, we're getting thin, and I'm glad it has stayed in one piece. Oh, when I post this, you'll all be able to see how it just, well, there was like one bad spot right in here and everything, so it'll show the full video. It was just it was a crack, but then when I took the crack, then it raised the edge completely to the other side, and had to worry about thinning that out. But we're getting through it. This is one of those pieces where it's taking on a shape of its own just due to the flaws. So this is, I just wanted to make a blade in general, and I mean, it's pretty much turning into that. Giving it that support there. When I hit it, I put my finger beneath it, and that way it absorbs the shock and helps guide the flake. Thank you. Okay, so moving this edge over. I think we're pretty close to pressure flaking. So I have given knapping lessons. I usually do them I've done them through like national parks. There's also the Chumash Museum in Thousand Oaks, but I've run some big classes there, so it's kind of hard to teach with a lot of people. It's kind of a thing you want to learn one-on-one. Yeah, you could, if you're, we can definitely set up an appointment. Yeah, Etsy or my Instagram, True to Tradition. You can message me on there. For handles on the axe head, I'd say anything, any kind of hard wood would be good. I made one axe, and I used I think it was some kind of European oak. So now I'm flaking in random kind of spots. Just getting the thick spots, and gonna try and get this, try and get it uniform. I'm not trying to get it paper thin right now. I'm trying to build convexity and get a nice symmetrical, or get symmetry on the faces of it. When it comes to flint knapping, repetition, and I mean, the rock is pretty much all predictable. As I mean, if there's a flaw in it, then it's not. But all these rocks break predictably. So over time, you kind of know what's going to happen. I know that I'm kind of building a nice platform right here, and I'm gonna build a solid one that I can just flake all the way down, and that I know that's gonna help me run flakes. So I can get the edge all lined up, flake it, and then I can turn the edge over, and I'll have a good little convexity over here too, and then I can run flakes there also, as long as I do it the right way. But I just need to make sure my platform is below center line. Okay, so setting up some platforms, or setting up a whole row of platforms. Then I want to make sure my tool is sharp. Okay, see those flakes are running real nicely now. So now I'm noticing or looking at this area right here. So I won't need to press into here really because it's got a low spot. And then I think I have a low spot on the edge, a hump right here. But the rest of this I can just flake. I can just turn the edge over and just flake like I did this face, which you see I got those pretty decent flake patterns on. Yeah, I'll post this up as a whole video, so once I'm finished with this, you'll be able to see the whole thing. So I'm just gonna do a little basil thinning first. And then I gotta sharpen my tool and probably make the nail a little bit longer. So when it comes to flint knapping, pressure flaking, or percussion, you really see, this is where I like to use a dull tine and turn my edge like that. You want to you don't want to just hit the rock randomly. You want to make sure your platforms are set up right. You want to know how how hard to hit, what angle to hit, and how to prep the edge. I mean, if you're just looking for rocks and you're just trying to break off a platform, even then, just make sure you're hitting it at the right angle. Maybe with that pumpkin obsidian I had right here, yeah, I can, later on I'll demonstrate how I would break this up. Yeah, definitely, I'm all over California sometimes, north and south. So I just a rasp that you get at the hardware store. One that I think it's just or actually a file, you know, just any file. And then antler, you can use a sidewalk. You can just use concrete. You want to just, or even you could even use a sander. And what I was told is that you want to burnish it like deer do, like how a deer would burnish. Just testing out this flaker. It's not. I need to start on the tip. But yeah, you want to burnish it like deer do, like where they burnish, they rub their antler on a tree, or their antlers on a tree. So I try and do that too after I sharpen them. But yeah, that's the thing with antler is, you know, if you get it wet, it's not gonna, you're gonna have to like let it dry. So you just want to make sure you keep them in a dry place. See, it runs real nice. And you don't really, you can, like if you're doing a whole flake set with antler, you could just abrade it with a tip along the way. So there's that set of flakes. But see, I would definitely probably have to just sharpen that again real quick. Yeah, you don't want to use like a grinder for your copper, because that's gonna heat it up, and then it's gonna soften it. Some people hammer it though. That's a good, like, hammer it on an anvil. That's a good way to do it. And that'll actually harden it, I think. So let's observe this edge real quick. This platform's below center line, that one's above center line. If I turn it over, then it's below center line right there, and I can press off that flake. So it involves a lot of turning in the piece, you know, just to, I see sometimes people when they first start, they would just leave it on their pad and they're just touching it up, but it's really, you're looking at it and you're seeing which ways the edge need to go now, or how do I build the platform, or so now I just ran, so that was the last row of flakes right there. Before that I ran that one, and now what I want to do is, let's see, so there's this edge right here. I can have it meet up with this one, so I need to turn my edge towards it, and then I can flake and try and line up those flakes at the same time. So I've just switched that edge around. Now I'm noticing, so this part right here is, I mean, the edge is a little bit higher, but it's also still pretty, like a flake right here, even like thinned it out. So I'm just gonna leave it up here for now, and I'm gonna start flaking right here and then go all the way down. So now I'm trying to get these flakes to meet up in here. It's not gonna have a great pattern, but, and see, I use these leather cutouts so I can stack them up if I need to. Right now I just want to use one though. Well, see, that one ran all the way across right there. No big deal. But yeah, that might have been too close to the pad right there. So I'm just glad it's stayed in one piece at this point, because it was a real wonky piece to begin with. But let's fix that. So now I want to come at it at this angle to, because I'm gonna have to make this edge similar to that. I mean, since I overshot it right there, I'm just gonna have to narrow it out a little bit, and then at the same time I'm gonna bring this edge up so I can press flakes over, and then I got that remnant of a stack or a little hinge from earlier. Just sharpen this up a little bit. Starting here at the base. Hopefully I'll get rid of that little flaw on the next pass on the other side. I'm glad I've kept a good amount of length on this thing. Fingers crossed it stays like that. But see, I just took that row of flakes. Now I'll turn that edge over, take flakes on the other side, and then I'll try and make one more pass over here to see if I can get rid of the little flaw in there. Sorry if the shadows kind of mess with the view. I'm in the shade under the tree, and I know that's probably messing with the quality a little bit, but there's a little thick spot right there. So if I want my flakes to run straight, like with pressure flaking, making sure that my edge is all lined up, I'm abrading, and one thing is that flakes, whether percussion or pressure, they're following ridges, so each of these flakes is following the previous ridge from the other flake, which is why I'm going down in a pattern. So like if you do some percussion flaking, or if you're thinning down a piece, or just even taking like this one right here, it's got a ridge that I can follow right there, so I can take that flake, you know, just that's one of the things to keep in mind. So these flakes are coming off the way I want them to for the most part, because I'm getting them all, I'm lining them up, I'm getting my platform all below the center line, braiding. So I mean, especially when you're using copper, you want a solid surface for it to flake. And then also using my little flake pads here to keep it elevated so the flakes have some free space to terminate. And then also keeping my flaker sharp. A couple of these platforms I can run on this side. I'm thinking I need to straighten that whole edge again a little bit. So I'm gonna turn this edge one more time, and hopefully this is the last row of flakes I have to run. I may have to do a couple more, or one more after this one. I have that little remnant right there that I just want to get rid of. And then it'll help me straighten this piece out from that overshot. Okay. That's what we're looking at right now. just gonna run another set over here to meet up with these, and then I need to turn the edge down this way to see about getting rid of that. I might not, but yeah, just two more runs, 2 more rows of flakes. That whole overshot kind of messed me up a little bit because it was already thick down here, and then I had that happen. So making it a little bit more narrow here, but I like the shape of it right now. That was a good flake, and it ran out to here. I just want to make sure I get it off the pad, because then it can cause it to overshoot. Okay, that went nicely. Give it a little bit more. Not pushing too hard right here, because I don't need to run it all the way across the face. So those flakes are looking real nice right here. Look at that. I'm happy with that. And then it's just the other side I need to take care of. All right, so this little flaw right there is, I know that if I go from tip to base, run my flakes this way, that's my best chance of getting it off. So I'm just gonna run one more row. Then I'm getting my flake pattern. I'm gonna have it built up by then, because you're starting off with doing the small flakes that run next to each other. I think maybe use this pad on this one. And then, see, so I'm running one flake, space it out, take another flake, and that is how I'm running these. And got a good platform here for that. And then I should, kind of didn't, it stopped right there. And then if I take this one right next to it, hopefully it'll just blend right in. So, let's see here. Yeah, a little bit of remnant of it, but we basically got it, so I'm happy with that. Okay, and now it's just all about the touch-up work. Just gonna do some edge work on this. Basically running a whole row of flakes just to make it a little bit more uniform. Okay. Oh, that looks good to me. Just basically all finish work right now. If I wanted to do a little bit more touch up or something, but got through the hard part and show this. Wait, okay. There we go. So there it is. And I might do a little bit more touch up, but for now I'm going to call it good. Thanks for watching.